Alright, we're starting Unit 3 today. And I think you will like this unit because it's just an extension of the unit we just finished. But you don't have to write all those steps that we've been writing, so that helps a lot of you. Unit 3.
Unit
3 is multi-step equations. That's what we're focused on today. And in this unit. So we took the Unit 2 test, and I told you that after that Unit 2 test, you didn't have to write all those steps that I've been making you write at the top on every problem. Now, some people like to write those, so if they help you, then I suggest you continue. But if you're pretty good and you understand what you're doing without them, then you can stop. All right, first thing you're going to need is to cut out that little box at the top of your paper. The one that says steps to solve an equation. So cut that out. You don't need the rest of your notes page yet. You won't need that for a little bit. So we're going to take that paper, that little box, and glue it down at the top of your page. We already have this box glued in our journal from Unit 2, but we're going to do it again and talk a little bit more about it. What steps that are listed in those 6 have we really focused on already?
Distribute.
Have we distributed in any equations yet, though?
No.
No, so we haven't done that.
Combining like terms.
Have we done that in an equation yet?
So we haven't done any of that in equation.
No. What have we done? We have done letters to the left and in front.
Unwrap the steps.
Unwrap the steps and what's happening. Those 3, number 3, number 4, number 5, those are the 3 we focused on so far. That was what Unit 2 is about. Was letters to the left and in front, or getting all the variables together. What's happening, like it was multiplied by 3 or added to 5 or whatever, and unwrapping the steps. So those 3 steps, that's your basic solving. So you can put solve out beside that. Today, we're going to add in distributing. We're going to add in distributing and combining like terms. Okay, distributing is called pass it out. That's when there's a number in front of the parentheses. If you see parentheses in your equation, you know you have to distribute because you have to get rid of those parentheses. Combining like terms, I like to call that clean it up. Some people just say simplify.
Clean it up.
I say clean it up, but you can put simplify there if you want. Okay, so we're going to practice this on about 6 different questions, and then we're going to do a few word problems, and you should have time today to get your assignment done in class so that you don't have homework, which I know you ball players is going to help you out a lot tonight because you're going to be busy. So, number 1. So write this down. Oh, that should be an x, sorry. 2x plus 12 equals 78. 2x plus x plus 12 equals 78. Are there any parentheses in that one?
No.
No, so we don't have to distribute. Is there anything I might be able to combine together though?
X and 2x.
The x and the 2x. So this goes with this. So if I have 2x's plus one more x. How many x's do I have?
3.
3 x's, so this is 3x plus 12 equals 78. Once you get to that point, that should look like what we did all last unit. Doesn't that look familiar? Okay, so what we would do last time is we would circle the letter, we drew the line down. You don't have to write all these steps, but I'm going to kind of walk you through it. What's happening to the letter up there?
Multiplied.
And what else?
Add by 12.
So in order to unwrap that, what were we going to do?
Subtract by 12, divide by 3.
Subtract by 12 and divide by 3. So let's do that. Subtract your 12. This 12 minus 12 cancels and you get 3x equals 66. And then you're going to divide by 3. X equals 22. What that means is if I took 22 and put it where that x is and where that x is, this side over here would equal 78. So like if I took my calculator and wanted to check it really quick, I could do 2 parentheses 22 plus parentheses 22 plus 12, and I'm really hoping that equals 78.
Yes.
Which it does. So there's really no reason for you to miss these problems because you can check them that fast. You're just figuring out what number is this variable hanging out waiting on. Because that x is just waiting there, hanging out in that spot for you to figure out what number goes there. That's the goal. All right, any questions on how we did that? All right, number 2. 4x plus 16 minus 2x equals 46. Do I have anything to distribute? Is there anything that parentheses or anything to pass out?
No.
No. Do I have anything I can combine?
4x and negative 2x.
4x and negative 2x. So what do I end up with when I combine those two?
2x.
2x
2x because
plus 16 equals 46. You guys see if you can solve it from there. I'll freeze it and then I'll unfreeze it when I finish. Okay, somebody tell me what is the first step you did to solve it? CJ.
Circle the x and the line.
Okay, so circle the x, put the line down, and then what? It's being added by 16, so what do we need to do? Subtract 16. And then after you subtracted 16 and got an answer, then what'd you do? Divide by 2. So let's check your answer and see if yours matches. Alright? So it's basically the same stuff. We've been doing this. So this should be a pretty easy unit because it's just the same kind of thing. We're just adding a little bitty extra part at the beginning. Alright, one more like that. 3x minus 4x plus 6 equals negative 2. Still nothing to distribute. We haven't gotten there yet. But do I have stuff I can combine? 3x minus 4x. What am I left with when I have 3 positive, 4 negative? Negative 1x. And since it's an equation, it's probably going to be better for you to go ahead and put the 1 there. Just so that you can kind of see what's going on. We know that most math people aren't going to write the 1, but go ahead and put it in there so that you can see it. So what is happening to x right now? Multiplied by? Negative 1. What else? Added by 6. So in order to unwrap the steps, I have to do the last thing first. So I have to subtract 6 first. And then I have to unwrap the multiply by negative 1 by dividing by negative 1. Okay, so all three of those have combining like terms in them. So let's do one that has distributing. So you can see how that one works. Negative 2, parentheses, x minus 4, close your parentheses, equals 12. So obviously this one has parentheses, which tells me immediately I have to distribute. What is getting distributed? The negative 2. It's going to get passed out here and here. Not to this 12 over here though, just to what's in the parentheses right here beside it. And when you pass out or when you distribute, you're multiplying. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. And then you solve it. Once you're finished, you can look up and see if yours matches mine. We good on that one? Y'all get negative 2? A couple of you still working. If you're not getting yours to match mine, you need to go back and look at mine and see where yours is different. Okay, a lot of times it's just a negative or positive issue, because those negative numbers will mess you up every time if you don't pay attention to the rules. Okay, one more like this, and then we're going to do one that has both distributing and combining. So number 5, 3 parentheses x plus 8 equals 21. 3 parentheses x plus 8 equals 21. So what's getting passed out? The 3 is going to go here and here. So that ends up being 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times 8 is 24 equals 21. What am I going to have to do to solve that? The first thing I need to do is subtract. I'm going to subtract the 24. And if you're not good at these negative and positive numbers, you've got a calculator there. Please use it. So 3x equals negative 3. The last step is divided by 3. So almost always you're dividing at the end. Not always, but almost always you divide at the end. Very seldom are we going to be multiplying. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so 1x equals negative 1. So if I put a negative 1 right here, that side should equal 21. And if you wanted to check it, you would do 3 parentheses, negative 1 plus 8. Close your parentheses so it looks just like the original, and hit enter. And it's 21.
Are we mostly using our calculators today?
I'm sorry, what?
Are we using mostly our calculators today, please?
Oh.
You can. You can. Because we're going to be, you guys have to get pretty proficient at using this calculator because you're using it on your EOC. You're using it on your test in here. You'll be using it later on in for your ACT, SAT test to get into colleges. So this calculator is kind of important to know how to use because it's pretty elaborate. It has a lot of different things on it that it'll do. All right, one more like this, and then we'll do those word problems. 2 parentheses, x plus 1. Close your parentheses and then put plus 5x equals 23. So this one's a little bit different. What's the first step in solving the equations? What's the first step in that box at the top of your page? Distribute. Do I have something to distribute?
Yes.
Yes, so let's take care of that first. 2 goes here, 2 goes here. How come it doesn't go to here?
It's not something.
It's not in the parentheses, it's outside. That's like the kid that's not in class today does not get the papers passed out to them. Okay? So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. And I'm just going to bring that 5x down. So I've distributed. What's the second step on my box say? Combine like terms. Do I need to take care of that?
Yeah.
On this one? Yep. Combine like terms. So if you have 2x plus 5x, how many x will you have? 7x. So this is 7x plus 2 equals 23. And once you get to that point, it should be easy. Like you should get to that 2-step equation and be like, okay, I got this. That's the goal. If we can get it to a 2-step equation, you guys should have that down. Because that variable right now is being multiplied by 7. And it's being added to 2. So to go backwards, you're going to have to unwrap the addition by subtracting 2. And then you're going to have to unwrap the multiplication by dividing by 7. That's what you're doing. Which means if I put a 3 here and here, this whole side would equal 23. That's the number that that variable is hanging out waiting on. Okay, so on the word problems, you need all 4 word problems, but you don't need that little sentence at the end of each one that says relate, because we're going to rewrite that. So cut them out separately. We're going to put 2 to a page and leave a lot of space between them so that we can do the work and draw a picture if we need it or whatever. They're labeled like A, B, C, and D. Okay, so the goal on these word problems is to read them. We've got to figure out an equation and then solve the equation to find what we're looking for. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We've got to define our variable, which means you're going to have a statement on every single one of these that says let x equal whatever it's going to equal. So it's whatever you're looking for. You have to kind of tell the person that goes back and reads this that when you find a number, what is that variable representing? So on letter A, it says, a music store sells a copy of a deluxe electric guitar for $295. This is 30 more than 1/2 the cost of the electric guitar it is modeled after. What is the cost of the original deluxe electric guitar? Okay, what are we looking for? The cost of the original, right? So over here, somewhere underneath here, right, let x equal cost of original. or just overage, I'm not gonna write the whole word. That's what our x is gonna represent, the cost of the original. So write that down somewhere. And it may seem like a silly thing to do, but later on when you're doing equations with lots of variables, you need to know which one's which. Okay, we've got several numbers and things going on that could be our equation. That might be part of it. That might be part of it. Okay, so cost of the original, what would 1/2 of the cost of the original look like if I was writing it for an equation? 1/2 of the cost. How would you do 1/2 of the cost?
295 divided by
Not the 295 divided by 2.
30 over 2.
The original cost, we would need half of that, so x is gonna be
15.
divided by 2.
oh.
Okay, so the original cost is divided by 2, so we're gonna do that, divided by 2. And we need 30 more than that, so what would that look like?
Plus 2,
Plus what?
or plus 30.
Plus 30. All that has to equal our total. So there's your equation. Once you've got your equation, now you just need to solve it. What's happening to x right there? It's being divided by 2. What else? It's also being added to 30. So to unwrap those steps,
Is it gonna be a decimal?
this is what you gotta do to unwrap those steps. You need to subtract 30 first. And you get x over 2 equals 265. I did that. And then what do I need to do? Multiply by 2. This is where a lot of people mess up because they divide instead of multiply. The only time you're multiplying is if the letter is on the top, the variable's on the top, and there's a number on the bottom like a fraction. Because this cancels out to x equals, what do you get here? 265 times 2. 530 what? Dollars. That's how much it costs. $530. Probably not that realistic for an electric guitar unless it's not a really big one. That's pretty cheap, yeah. Most word problems aren't really that realistic, just so you know.
I get that plus 2.
Okay, so that one had a fraction in it. That made it a little bit tricky. The rest of these I don't think have that, so it should be pretty easy. The next one. Suppose the Panther baseball team scored, oh, we need to fix this. This is a typo. I need to change this 5 to a 6. So change that to a 6 or else this messes up. So fix that for me. I forgot to fix it when I typed it out. Suppose the Panthers baseball team scores 6 runs in Saturday's game. This was 4 more than twice the runs scored by the Lions team. How many runs did the Lions team score? What are we looking for? The Lions team score. So let
So 2x plus 4.
x equal, hold on, the Lions score. You need to let x equal the Lions score, because that's what we're looking for. We've got this number, and then we've got 4 more than twice the Lions.
Sorry.
It's okay. So I heard somebody start saying what the equation looks like. Go ahead.
2x plus 4.
2x, because twice the runs from the Lions, so 2x. 4 more than that is plus 4 equals what? Equals 6. So y'all saw that, find out how many the Lions scored. I'll give you a hint, they didn't do so hot at this game.
Right. You're such a nerd.
So when you work that one out, you can see that The Lions scored just 1 run.
He sucked.
Is that better? That's about all I can do.
First ball base. Maybe you can get a better baseball team. Or a better coach.
Okay, so on your next page, you should have the last 2 word problems glued down. They are going to be very similar to each other, and you have one just like them on your homework. So let's get these 2 done, and then you can get busy on your assignment. Hopefully have it done and turned in before you walk out.
I'm hungry. Why do they wait so long?
Everybody finished with this one? Alright, so letter C says,
How do you hold it?
a gardener. Y'all got this one glued down? I need to wait?
You gotta get it down. They should.
A gardener is planting a rectangular garden area in a community garden. His garden will be next to an existing 12-foot fence. The gardener has 44 feet of fencing to build the other 3 sides of his garden. How long will the garden be if the width is 12 feet? Okay, when I read questions like this, my brain kind of shuts off about halfway through.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff. So, first thing I want you to do is, it tells me that this garden is a certain shape, correct? A rectangle. I am very visual. You are probably a visual learner, at least primarily. I would draw yourself a picture of a rectangle, which rectangles aren't too hard to draw, so I think you can handle that. So draw yourself a rectangle. So that you can kind of picture this, because if you can picture it, it makes it so much easier. So here's my rectangular garden. What does it tell me that he's using one side is what?
44 fencing.
It's next to an existing 12-foot fence, right? So it's kind of like there's already a fence up there, and he's going to use that for one side. He doesn't have to use that. So we're going to make that fence this end. And so this is like I'm looking down like a bird. And I'm just going to put little X's all down this side so that it shows that that's already got fence on it. So that side already has a fence. Okay, so like I'm flying over like a bird kind of looking down. So all he has to do is fence in this, this, and this, right? What is it asking me to find?
How long it will be.
How long it is, so
Length.
the length. So what is X going to represent? Let
Length of the garden.
X equal good, the length. So if I'm labeling my little garden area over here, I can put X here because this is length, and I can put X here because this is length, right? How wide is it? Did it tell me that?
12 foot.
12. So I know that he's making a fence, and he's doing it from here to there, and he's got this much. So this plus this has to add up to that. So my equation is X plus 12 plus X equals 44. Because I just added up this one plus this one plus this one. Or you could look at that and just go ahead and write 2X plus 12 is 44. Because you could combine those two, couldn't you? Right, so if you can look at it and do that, that's fine. Or if you want to wait and do it over here, that's fine too. Either way. Because this is going to be X plus X equals X plus 12 equals 144. And you should be able to solve from there.
You meant 44?
Oh, I had said 144. Yep, should be plain 44. Sorry. Got a little overzealous there with my numbers. You guys have done problems like this in junior high, but you didn't necessarily have an equation to go with it. It didn't work out quite exactly like this, but you logically figured them out. This is just the equation, the math behind it all. Should get 2x equals 32, and then we divide by 2. What? When I got 16 there, what is that?
16 feet.
Feet. So make sure you always label it. because there are lots of tests that like to try to trick you, and they'll put 16 inches as one answer and 16 feet is another answer, and they want you to understand which one it is. Okay? So don't fall for silly tricks like that. All right, last one. This one's the one that's kind of like your homework, I think. A carpenter is building a rectangular fence for a playground. One side of the playground is a wall of the building, which is 70 feet wide. He plans to use 340 feet of fencing material. What is the length of the playground if the width is 70? Okay, first of all, what am I looking for? We can define my variable. What am I looking for? What is the length, right? So let x equal length. And then what do you think I'm going to do next? I'm going to draw a picture because I'm so visual, I need a picture. So it's a rectangle again, which is good because rectangles are pretty easy. So draw a rectangle. And instead of one side being a fence this time, what is it saying it is?
Playground.
It's a wall. One side's a wall, right? And it is a playground, but one side's a wall. So we'll say this side's the wall. So kind of draw it like this. This will be like the brick. Okay, something like that. Like I'm a pigeon on the top of the wall.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm looking down the side of the wall, and down here is the ground. Okay, so like I'm way up high. So that part doesn't count, but I do know this is going to be an x, this is going to be an x. What is this going to be? 70. And these three sides had to add up to 340. So what would your equation look like? 2x plus 70 equals 340. Or you could do x plus 70 plus x, and you'd still end up with the 2x. You could write it all out first, and then combine. You save yourself a step if you learn how to combine on the picture.
This is easy.
Again, this one's in feet. So when you find your answer, put feet there, and you can check it and make sure yours matches mine. That's it for today's notes. So it should be a pretty easy set.